World Financial Group offers entrepreneurs from all backgrounds the opportunity to start their own business on a level playing field. Dr. Yana Woodhouse, receiving the WCM Wall Street Pioneer Award by the United Black Wall Street of America, Inc., is one of those entrepreneurs.
I see WFG and TFA as a place where African Americans with an entrepreneurial mindset can flourish. And the bonus, we help families and serve the communities across the country.
To learn more about us, go to worldfinancialgroup.com.
We are the sons and daughters of the soul. We are resilient and forever forward-thinking. We ask for nothing else than the opportunity to live and to create the lives that we were meant to live. We want nothing but an equal chance at options and possibilities. The same possibilities and options to live out our potential as our fellow man. We want to be heard, understood, and expressive in our reality. We are the future. We are the creative. We are here.
Hello, and welcome once again to another fantastic Tuesday where your host, Tyrone Glover, the Dress Down CEO, comes to you live from our location in Yonkers, New York. Thank you so much for making time. Ladies and gentlemen, that is our new hashtag, and I want you to get comfortable with using that new hashtag. Make time. Make time for these important understandings that you need to get financially fit. You need to become financially prepared for what is to come. We understand that there have been some circumstances, there has been some situations, there's been things ongoing that you're now needing our assistance. Leverage your score. Again, my name is Tyrone Glover, and I am the Dress Down CEO of Leverage Credit Recovery. No more suits for me, ladies and gentlemen. No more suits. I did as much as I could with a suit on, and it helped, no question about it. I got smarter, I got educated, I did a lot with that suit, but now I have seen that there's the suit and tie guys that put us into these situations. It's going to take the hat guys, the tattoo sleeved guys. It's going to take us with the gray in our chin, that wisdom, that knowledge to help us navigate and get through some of these challenging times. And we know, good Lord, do we know, it's some challenging times. Now, I'm not going to get into the politics of it because this is not a political show. This is a credit recovery show. This is where we talk about credit, where we talk about finances, where we talk about financial literacy, where we try to tie these components together to help you, the public, get through whatever it is that you might be going through. And today, I'm telling you, today is a great, extremely great show. Not saying that all of our shows aren't great, but this one today is going to help put some of the tops back on some of those open containers when it comes to the understandings and the information that you need to know about charge-offs, write-offs, and late payments, ladies and gentlemen. Charge-offs, write-offs, and late payment. And I am pleased to announce that the CFPB is back up and running. All right. That was one of our major sources that we went to try to make sure that things were always being done accordingly. Now, we also know that even though it's back up and running, you got a couple of individuals who are leading these institutions who might not be thinking about us in the manner in which we think about us. But nevertheless, we're going to continuously hold their feet to the fire, and we're going to continuously do what we need to do, which is keeping you informed. I'm a messenger, ladies and gentlemen. I am a messenger. That's all I am, a messenger. I can't force you. I can't twist your arm. I can't do none of those coercion things. All I can do is give you my best, my absolute best when it comes to the information that I'm providing for you. And I am here to tell you that's all you're going to get from me for the most part is my best, my best. Whether you are a client, whether you are potentially thinking about becoming a client, whether it's in our spaces of financial literacy, whether it's in our spaces of credit, whether it's in our spaces of day trading, wherever that area might be. Again, we do not solicit, we do not tell you that this is financial information. The majority of what we're giving you is for educational purposes. And as long as you are educated, smart, and wise, please seek the appropriate agency or institution that can either validate or say, hey, you know what, you might want to go this route. But we are making full disclosures, okay? Making sure that you understand the information that we're giving you is 99.9999999%, but still, seek out those professionals who can check that box for you and say, okay, you're good to go. The information that you receive is on point. All right, so let's dive into today's topic, which is going to be talking about, as I said, charge-offs, write-offs, and late payments. How you can navigate this space to make sure that these charge-offs and late payments come off your credit report. All right, here we go, folks. Let's do it. All right, so again, leverage credit recovery, charge-offs, write-offs, and late payments. So why consumers do not owe a third or a first-party creditor or credit after a charge-off or write-off. Again, think about that, all right? A lot of you are being guilted and feel guilty when you look at your credit profiles and you see these derogatories or these negatives. Don't feel guilty. Don't feel any type of a way. Life got in the way that created these situations. So let's now use that same life to get us out of that situation. Okay, so the introduction, and there's going to be two introductions, one for the charge-off, write-off piece, and another one for the late payment piece. And if we have to do this in 2 shows, I have no problem in doing it in 2 shows, all right? But I'm going to attempt to give you as much as I possibly can. Note, paper, pad, whatever it is that you need. Also, these are being recorded for later usage. If you go to either our StreamYard or if you go to our Facebook, or if you go to YouTube under Soul City Network, you'll be able to find the recordings and hopefully you'll use them in the manner in which, if not, by all means, reach back out to us on those very same platforms. You can find our connecting or our contact information. So many consumers are misled into believing that they still owe a debt to a creditor or a third-party collector, even after a charge-off or write-off has occurred. However, there is a strong argument, both logically and legally, that once a creditor declares a debt as uncollectible and claims here's the key, bad debt deduction. Please Google that. Please Google it. Write it down for a later Google use. But remember, bad debt deduction. The financial obligation ceases to exist. Okay, it ceases to exist. This argument is rooted in accounting principles, IRS tax code, and legal precedent that demonstrates that a creditor cannot claim a loss. Think about that, writing it off. That's the loss portion, and simultaneously attempt to collect on the same debt. No, no, no. All right, can't do it. So understanding charge-offs and write-offs. A charge-off occurs when a creditor determines that a debt is unlikely to be collected and as a result removes it from their books as a receivable asset. So remember, things have a process, and this process works to your advantage when you understand how you can use it to your advantage. All right, the creditor then claims a bad debt deduction on their taxes, effectively reducing their taxable income based on the assumption that the debt is a financial loss. This deduction signals that the creditor no longer expects to recover the funds, which raises a fundamental question. If the creditor has declared the debt a loss, how can the consumer still be held liable for it? So while you're pondering that, I'm going to touch a little bit on that. Just think about that. Everything has a process. If you damage something, that damage can be written off. As we write off things on our taxes, businesses can equally write off things on their taxes. And unfortunately, when it comes to debt, they try to guilt you. They try to make you feel so bad that you got into a credit card situation where you bought a car or you bought a home. Again, we want to live up to our obligations, but that funny thing called life that constantly keeps getting in the way, well, guess what? It's going to throw you some curveballs here and there. And when it does, either you can knock them out the park, or guess what? You may strike out once or twice or as many times as needed. But nevertheless, there's always a way to resolve these problems. I like to say it this. It's always a way to resolve these concerns at first. Ignoring them for too long turns into an issue. And then obviously, once it starts ending up affecting your life to where you almost cannot move financially, then that's a problem. And I'm hoping that we don't get to that. I'm hoping that more people now realize you either are in the concern area or you're in the issue area. But if you're already in that problem stage, you need to be reaching out. You need to be reaching out to us almost immediately. Not right now because you're watching the show, but after the show, you need to be reaching out. The concerned folks, again, do your research, do your history, make sure that we are telling you the truth. You issue folks, again, you've been with us for some time. You probably have watched many of our shows already. So you already know. But that problem child, that problem folk, you need to be reaching out already. It's overdue time. So the bad debt deduction, a key legal and financial consideration. The IRS allows businesses, including creditors, to write off uncollectible debt under the 26 U.S. Code 166 bad debt. To qualify for this deduction, the creditor must provide that the debt, must prove that the debt is wholly or partially worthless. So you already know that when it comes to a credit card or something of that nature, where it's repoed or it's foreclosed on, that is a wholly, not a partially, right? There are some debts that could end up partially with, meaning you paid some of it down and there's still a portion of it that's still left, and that it has been removed from their balance sheet. Anytime they charge it off, trust me when I tell you it's being removed from that balance sheet. You got to remember something about business, ladies and gentlemen. Businesses and financial institutions get to write off their losses, not like we do every year, but they get to write off their losses every quarter. You got to remember, these businesses and financial institutions have investors, and those investors will not invest if they see balance sheets that have more negative or more debt than they do assets. So you really got to be careful in that sense, and businesses are not going to tell you that. So it's your job to make sure that you are well-versed. And if you are well-versed, it's going to be a piece of cake. All right. So has been removed from their balance sheet. Once this occurs, the creditor has already recouped a portion of their losses through tax benefits. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's not just a portion. The IRS gives back businesses nearly up to 100%. All right. Nearly up to 100% of their loss is recouped. So with that being said, can they sue you? Well, they can try, but if you don't know, they'll probably be successful at it. But if they do, and now you know, guess what you're able to do? You're able to tell the courts they're committing fraud. And that word's going to come up, not the fraud word, but another word. I'm just hold off on it and sharing it with you. If a debt has been claimed as a loss and deducted, the following questions arise. Can a creditor double dip by both writing off the debt for tax benefits and continuing to collect from the consumer? No, can't do that. If the original creditor no longer owes the debt in an accounting sense, how can a third-party creditor claim rightful ownership of it? No. Again, you do not owe a third party should a first party sell that debt. And there's a lot of things within that sell that you yourself have to know when it comes to your privacy. There's a lot of things that they can't do. So in both of those situations, no, and no. So legal precedent and case study. So here we have two case studies. Here we have a fictional case study, which I want you to think about. And then here we have an actual case study. So the case study number one is the IRS versus a consumer protection advocate. All right. In a landmark case, a consumer advocate group challenged a bank's attempt to collect a debt that had already been charged off. The court ruled that because the bank has already claimed the bad debt deduction, it cannot simultaneously pursue collections as that would be about, excuse me, let me rephrase that again, as this would amount to unjust enrichment. So please remember those words right there. Not fraud. We don't want to call it fraud. We want to call it unjust enrichment. Because the fraud could be that you're saying something that they're not doing, but this is clearly what they're doing. And again, I'm one for the whole fraud. Let's call it what it is. Okay, let's call it what it is. But let's use the legal terminology, unjust enrichment. The court ruling reinforced the principle that once a debt is written off and tax benefits are claimed, the consumer is no longer legally obligated to pay. Boom, you're done. Use that in your argument, you're going to win hands down. Let's take a look at case study number 2, Smith versus ABC Collections. Now, this is a fictional case study. In a hypothetical example, John Smith was pursued by a third-party debt collector for a charge-off credit card balance. Smith provided evidence that the original creditor has written off the debt and received a tax deduction. The court ruled in his favor, emphasizing again that the original creditor had declared the debt as uncollectible. All right, uncollectible, making any subsequent attempt to collect unlawful and deceptive, which is fraud. All right, there you have it, folks. If you have any type of charge-offs on your credit report, the best thing to do right now is to go to annual credit report, pull up your credit report, and reach out. Reach out. Let's get this stuff off of there and watch that credit score go through the roof. Trust me when I tell you. All right. So the illusion of third-party collection. Third-party creditors or collectors purchase charge-off debt for pennies on the dollar, often with minimal documentation. These debts are typically transferred through as-is sell agreements, meaning that the original creditor disclaims any guarantee about the validity or collectability of the debt. So again, it's telling you everything. When companies start calling you, when you see things on your credit report that wasn't there before from a collections agency, now you're getting hit twice for one debt. You need to know these things, ladies and gentlemen. Consumers should question the legitimacy of such claims, as the original creditor has already severed financial ties with the obligation. So the doctrine of unjust enrichment. Probably didn't know all this stuff, but I'm glad you are sitting in on this show. Please make sure again that you go out and you tell some loved ones. In fact, I'm sending some hearts to my YouTube. If there's anybody out there who also can see my hearts popping up on my YouTube, pop me up some. Show some love. Make sure. There we go. So the doctrine of unjust enrichments. In contract law, the doctrine of unjust enrichments prevents a party from unfairly benefiting at another's expense. If a creditor has received tax benefits for a bad debt deduction, attempting to collect the same debt again would constitute a form of unjust enrichment. And this is what would, you might be getting sued. You might be afraid to answer those lawsuits. You might be thinking about, I got time and I'll deal with it then. This is now the time to deal with it right now before it turns into, as I said, that problem. You might be dealing with it right now as it is a concern. You might even be dealing with it because you got the information and now it turns into an issue. Don't let it turn into a problem. So courts have increasingly recognized this argument, ruling in favor of consumers who challenge post-charge-off collections efforts. All right, stop letting third parties ruin you, even though the first party should not have even added it to your credit profile. All right, they should have removed it equally at the time that they got their charge off or their write-off. But leaving it there only hurts you. That means you probably have a suit. And this is why I keep talking about we need to be looking at class action lawsuits. We need to be looking at taking these financial institutions along with the credit reporting agencies, taking them to task. There's more of us. If we do our part and make sure that they do not get the opportunity to write it off, then meaning after they have lost their lawsuit. We want them to continue to keep writing things off. Not saying that that's a plus or a negative for us. We all know that we should live up to our obligations. There's no question about it. Accountable for what we decide as an adult. We should live up to those responsibilities. And I'm not nor will I ever say that individuals should use whatever deceptive practices or means. No, we are always here and going to fight for you as long as you're doing things above board. Got you covered. So the conclusion, the concept of owning or owing a debt after a charge-off, write-off is largely a financial and legal misrepresentation. Once a creditor claims a bad debt deduction, the obligation should be considered extinguished as the creditor has already been compensated through tax relief. Another further collection attempt, especially by a third-party buyer, should be scrutinized under principles of equity, tax law, and consumer protection statutes. Consumers should be aware of their rights and challenge any attempt to collect on debt that has already been legally written off. A robust understanding of charge-off tax implications and legal precedent can empower individuals to defend themselves against misleading and unfair collection practices. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was a mouthful. That little section right there was a lot of information to take in, I'm certain. So what I would like you to do is to go back when you have time, even send me a quick email or something of that nature, and I'll be more than happy to give you this PowerPoint so that you can use it for whatever purposes and reasons that you need to, even if you just need to use it to address some of the concerns within your credit profile. But it would be great to sit down with friends and families and have one of those conversations, a financial monthly conversation, to make sure that everybody's okay. We're going to start implementing something like that. One of my good friends, Sharky, she does this on a regular basis. And that's why I'm kind of piggybacking off that idea. Sharky, if you're listening and paying attention, I'm going to borrow your idea. But nevertheless, she's a wonderful, wonderful person. But this is for you to not just hold on to and do nothing with. This is for you to now implement. Go through your credit report, look at it in depth, see if there are any charge-offs on there, see if there are any write-offs on there. And as we move into the next portion of this segment, see if there are any late payments there that we can help you remove or that you can do it on your own. There's a lot of what I do that you can do on your own, but you still need that assistance. You still need that help. And this is where we come in. We provide you with valuable 100%, nearly 99.999% of valuable information, and we want you to be financially successful. And the only way to do that, attend these shows. The only way to continue that is to make sure that if you do have some of these circumstances and situations ongoing, do your part. Get it off. Get it off. You now have a legal, good faith argument to removing whatever it is as far as a charge-off or a write-off on your credit report. Do it. All right, let's move into phase 2, which is why consumers can and must have late payments removed from their credit reports. All right, can and must. And it's up to you to demand upon these agencies, companies, corporations to do what they're supposed to do, or guess what? You have to take it up a notch. And if it is taking them to court, again, a lot of these companies don't want to go to court. You want to know why? Because it becomes public record. Too much public record can hurt your image or it can hurt your reputation, just like too much of your information showing up on credit reports to creditors can hurt your opportunities, like we're getting ready to see right here. Late payments on credit reports can have a devastating consequence for consumers, affecting their ability to secure loans, buy homes, rent apartments, and even obtain employment. Now, that employment piece is not as bad as most people still think. It has been reduced in so many ways. So don't think that your employment could be jeopardized It's the individuals who are now filling out job applications. What could happen in that regards is that they can have a question on there. Is it okay if we check your credit? And if you choose to omit that, then the likelihood of you getting that job probably will not happen. But if you check it off and they then check your credit and they find out that there are some money management opportunities there that have hindered you from being the productive citizen, they might also equally decide not to bring you in as an employee. But nevertheless, if you can get all of this stuff, well, not all, but as much as you need to get removed, if it's not there, it can't hurt you. And that's the biggest part of it. That's why we have these types of understandings within our legal system to help you. But you got to want it more than those who are presenting it to you. Many consumers are unaware. Again, many consumers are unaware that they have the right to challenge, dispute, and ultimately remove late payments from their credit reports through proper legal and ethical channels. Let's say that one more time. Proper legal and ethical channels. Businesses in corporate America have long profited from consumers' hardship, including late payments, by leveraging fees, higher interest rates, and credit-based decision makings to extract maximum profit from financial struggling individuals. This argument will highlight why consumers must have the ability to remove late payments, how businesses exploit these circumstances, and why it benefits all parties to assist consumers in the removal process. All right. A lot of information in that introduction. So let's dive into why and how this works to your advantage. All right. So the impact of late payments on consumers, the impact of late payments on consumers. A single late payment can drastically lower a consumer's credit score, often by 50 to 100 points, depending on their credit history. The impact is particularly severe for individuals with a otherwise excellent credit score. This dip can lead to higher interest rates on future loans, denials for mortgage and auto loan applications, increased insurance premiums, employment denial, as many employers conduct credit checks. So again, that question technically should not be there, but if it is there on an application and you choose not to check it or you omit it for whatever the reasons may be, the possibility of you still getting that job may be reduced. And also, if you check it and then they find out that there are some questionable money management behavior that may not constitute the employee that they may want, so that may also prevent you from, again, getting that job. And difficulty renting housing. So late payments stay on your credit report for up to 7 years. A disproportionately harsh penalty for what is often a temporary hardship caused by life events such as a medical emergency, job loss, or family crisis. Given these circumstances, consumers must have avenues to remove the late payments and rebuild their financial stability. So, how businesses profit from late payments. Corporate America and financial institutions have strategically designed systems to capitalize on consumers' missteps. Here, how they profit from late payments. So, a late payment and penalty charge. Banks and credit card companies charge late fees that can range from $25 to $40 per missed payment, generating billions in annual revenue. Increased interest rates. Many lenders use late payments as a justification to increase interest rates. For example, a consumer with an introductory 0 APR credit card can see their rate jump to 29.99 after just one late payment. All right, so you really want to be strategic about making sure, again, living up to your obligations, focusing on the responsibilities that you take on when you decide to take on a financial obligation or responsibility. It's just that simple, all right? So, profit from credit score damage. When a consumer credit score drops. There are classifications, and they are classified as some subprime borrowers, allowing lenders to charge them exuberant interest rates on loans, credit cards, and mortgages. This results in additional billions in revenues for financial institutions. So again, you were stellar, they dropped you into a subprime area. Now, everything that you are getting due to a mishap, due to an unfortunate life circumstance, and now you're being penalized. They're still making money off of you. They're still loving you as you do your daily understandings with their product, but they will not do anything to change that for you. Why are you still doing business with them? Well, here's going to be some reasons as to how you maneuver past that. And we hope that you use this to your advantage, folks. Do not let individuals that don't see you as an individual continue to keep putting you in situations that individuals should not be in. That's what I'm saying. So how businesses profit from late payments? Continue. So here, debt collectors, the debt collection industry profits. Once an account is severely delinquent, businesses sell debt to third-party collectors for pennies on the dollar. These agencies then pursue aggressive collection tactics to extract as much as possible from struggling consumers. And last but not least, insurance and employment discrimination. Insurance companies and employers use credit scores to set rates and hiring decisions, disproportionately affecting consumers who have had temporary financial struggles, thereby limiting their opportunities and forcing them into a cycle of financial hardship. This has gone on far too long. Congress seems like it wants to do its part. It created the CFPB, which is the Consumer Financial Protections Bureau. They have done a couple of other things. States have also stepped in because you have federal agency and then you have state agencies, but they're still not doing enough. And you want to know the reason, the number one reason? That it's my reason only. Okay, my reason only, but I'm guaranteed if we did some investigation looking into it, we'd probably come up with, oh, guess what? You were right. All right, I was right. And one of those reasons is that a lot of the congressmen, a lot of the investors, these individuals who benefit from this, well, as I just said, they're investors. They're investing in these companies that we are using on a regular basis. So if they're invested in these companies, do you think they're going to regulate them to a degree that it's going to hurt their pocket or help us? Okay. Yes, they would rather make sure that their pockets are still good, but at whose cost? Us, the consumer's cost. So they need to, as they always say about the president of the United States, the president should be divesting, should have nothing to do, should not be creating conflicts of interest. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you we have nothing but conflicts of interest within our Congress. Nothing but. If these individuals were sincere, then they themselves would be doing more to help consumers by letting them know, yep, you know what? I'm invested in this company. So guess what? I can't literally do what I need to do, which is regulate them in a manner in which it's going to help you, the consumer. So they have to decide which part of the quid pro quo are you going to be on? All right. Which part of the unjust enrichment are you going to be on? I'm just saying. All right. Food for thought, ladies and gentlemen. Food for thought. So, why credit bureaus should remove late payments? This is now asking Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. Remember again, they're not bureaus. Bureaus are part of the government. They used and adopted that name to give them a little bit more, shall we say, validity behind their name. All right, these are for-profit entities, and if you Google them, you probably see their profits are in the billions of dollars. So, Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion, or Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion collect and report consumers' payment data, but are not infallible. Consumers have legal avenues to remove late payments, particularly when they are inaccurate, unverifiable, and unfairly reported. Legal and ethical grounds for removal. So here are some reasons and whys to where and how you can get these removed. So the Fair Credit Reporting Act, FCRA, protection. The FCRA mandates that all information on a credit report must be 1, accurate, must be 2, complete, and must be 3, verifiable. If a consumer disputes, now again, please remember what I've said in many of shows before. Disputing something by definition means that you did it. So we don't really like to use the word dispute, but I like to keep bringing it up because it allows for me to clarify why you should be focusing on challenging the validity of the information. All right, so a late payment and the creditor fails to verify it within 30 days, the Bureau must remove it. There's no ifs, there's no ands, there's no buts. That is what we call law. Okay, that's law. And should they not? Well, you should be considering some type of a legal action. Yeah, you can get $1,000 for every infraction that is on your credit report. Every trade line, every item that they're not living up to when it comes to the law, you yourself can sue them. And guess what they're going to do? They're going to settle and they're going to pay you out or they're going to remove it. So don't be hesitant to think that the legal avenues that you yourself can use are there. You're a citizen. And as a citizen, you have rights. And with those rights, there's opportunities that you can exercise those rights in a court of law. This is a civil court. So that means you get the same understandings that they do when they sue you. So don't hesitate to use that if necessary. A goodwill adjustment. Many creditors will remove late payments upon request, especially for long-standing consumers with otherwise good payment histories. Consumers can write goodwill letters explaining their hardship and request removal. And again, will they do it? You don't know until you exercise that understanding. But I can tell you right now, if you use a well-crafted, smart, intelligent, again, think about what I'm getting ready to say, good faith argument, you'll probably get those removals. Okay, you'll probably get those removals. You got to remember, they want clients. They don't want to lose clients. Okay, even the ones that have had past situations. They don't want to lose people. They want to earn that trust. They want to earn that business. And sometimes, just like we do, they go through some hiccups as well. Right? So remember that good faith argument. And definitely remember Fair Credit Reporting Act. That is a law. So let's continue. We have errors and inaccurate and inconsistencies. A Consumer Financial Protections Bureau, which is now back up and running. The website is there, the CFPB. Studies found that a significant percentage of credit reports contain errors. If a late payment is inaccurately reported, such as a wrong date, okay, the amount, all right, or an account, it can be disputed. But what did we say? We want to do what? Absolutely. We want to challenge the validity and have it removed. All right. Don't get caught on that dispute word. I'm telling you, if you look it up, it's probably going to give you, not probably, it's going to give you a definition of what it actually means. So just think about what I said. Challenging the validity of an item. Excuse me. All right. So pay for deletion agreements. Some creditors agree to remove negative marks in exchange for full or partial payment. While not all creditors allow this, it is a common strategy for removing derogatory marks. I would suggest that we do not pay for something that you believe is inaccurate. Don't do it just to get it removed. Don't, because you never know, by paying portions of it, the rest of it could still probably come back to bite you in the hiney parts, right? So don't get comfortable with certain things that some people may give you. I'm giving it to you because I want to explain to you why and what could be the benefits and also what could be the derogatories that could come out of that as well. So please be mindful of things that are given to you, even by trusted sources. All right, I'm going to tell you the truth about everything, or as much as your brain can consume. So I'm not here to, as I said, my reward is not going to come from a consumer. My reward is going to come from a much higher, much greater power. But I'm still going to do what that higher power has given me to do, which is to inform consumers and make sure that they are with using their rights within the manner in which they should. It's just that simple. All right, so here's some case studies. The benefits of late payment removal. So here we have a case study of Johnson versus XYZ Credit Bureau. All right, so John Johnson, a consumer who lost his job during a medical emergency, missed 2 credit card payments. Although he quickly resumed on-time payments, his credit score dropped from 750 to 620. Woo! Man, you can see how, again, something so easy could put you in a range where now everything around you is more expensive when it comes to credit. Johnson disputed the late payment as inaccurate since his bank had applied the payments to the wrong month. So there you have it. There's the inaccuracy right there. The credit bureau failed to verify the account of the data within 30 days, leading to a removal of the late payment. His score rebounded to 740, allowing him to refinance his mortgage at a lower interest rate, saving him thousands of dollars. Literally, that easy. Just like that easy. Okay, but you got to do that work. You got to put in that work. Case study number 2. Now, this one is a hypothetical case. This is Smith versus ABC Bank. So we got Jane Smith had a stellar credit record until she experienced a temporary hardship due to a car accident. After resuming payment, she requested a goodwill adjustment from her lender, citing her consistent prior payment history. The bank removed the late payments as a goodwill gesture, allowing her to qualify for an auto loan at 3% lower interest rate. So that's, again, even in those hypothetical situations, using the common sense of, oh, hey, I was good. I had a short-term situation that prevented me from doing even better. And now you want to harm me? Oh, come on now. Do this goodwill and see what the outcome is. If they value you as a consumer, and this is where you get to now establish whether or not they value you. If they value you as a consumer, then they're going to do what they need to do to keep you as that valued consumer. If they don't value you, well, you're going to get the hemming and the hawing and the and the and we'll get back to you in 74 hours in a text or an email, in an email, which never comes for about 2 to 5 weeks. Okay? Know your rights, folks. Know what you can do. Use these scenarios. Use your common sense, which I know common sense is not as common as it used to be. But don't get caught in situations that you already know you can get out of. So, why removing late payments benefits all parties? So, consumers gain financial stability. Removing late payments allows consumers to rebuild their credit, secure better financial opportunities, and break free from cycles of debt caused by punitive credit scoring models. Number 2, businesses benefit from stronger consumer relationships. And this is what I was just talking about right there, creating that relationship. Yes, even in a relationship, there are some things that can go left. But should they stay left? There are some things that could go right. But should they stay right? No. Let's put them back on the straight and narrow. Creditors who assist consumers in late payment removals foster loyalty, leading to long-term business relationships. This improves their public image and consumer retention rates. Isn't that what businesses want? Businesses, y'all need to reach out to me as well. Not consumers. Maybe I can help y'all with training your frontline employees on stop being so aggressive and so rude because they think they know more, even though that I've asked many of them on many fronts. Can you tell me what you know about credit? Well, I know that if you, you can't even hold the conversation with me well enough for me to believe that you understand anything about credit. So why would I entrust you to tell me something that I'm already convinced in that you don't know? So businesses, reach out. A brother like me can help you too, just like I'm helping all these consumers. Number 2, the economy benefits from increased consumer spending. Consumers with higher credit scores qualify for lower interest rates, leading to increased home ownership, vehicle purchases, and business investment, stimulating economic growth. Number 4, reduce the burden on the credit collection industry. When consumers recover financially, they are more likely to meet their obligations, their responsibilities, reducing the strain on the debt collection system and lowering delinquency rates. So, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Again, wrapping another one up. We went through 2 of these, and it was brilliant to listen to me say to you what you have to do. Yes, I feel like Morgan Freeman, where he said he loves the sound of his voice. That's exactly me. I love the sound of my voice because the information that I'm giving to you is on point. It's there to serve you. It's there to make sure that you have what you need. So, as I said before, these shows go so fast. I thought this was going to be a 2, but this is going to be a 1, and I got something special to share with you as we get closer to that closing time. So we're about 15 minutes out. If you got any questions, please go to our YouTube. There's a section in the YouTube that you can, again, put some hearts, put some smiley faces, put some 100s, and you can also pose a question. Go to our StreamYard, same exact thing. You can pose a question, and go to our Facebook, and you can do the exact same thing. Pose a question. All right. If you still are interested in learning a little bit more, by all means, send me an email, send me a text, and I'll be more than happy to send you over these PowerPoints. And again, use them as you see fit. I tell people all the time, they ask me, well, how do you give this stuff away for free? How? Well, how? There is no how. You just do it because it's the right thing to do. But you want to know something that I know that they don't know? You're not going to be able to do it with that type of passion. You're not going to be able to do it with that type of conviction. You're not going to be able to do it with the love and the understanding that I have towards consumers, not towards my bottom line, not towards my pocket, because that's going to be satisfied because of how and who I am. But the genuine understanding of helping someone is what I'm all about. And if you haven't picked that up by today's, go back and look at some of my other previous recordings. You'll probably see that this same energy is always there to make sure that you have what you need and that you do what you must to make sure that your situations are fully taken care of. And if you do that, I'm telling you now, you're going to have everything that you need. Everything. So the ability to remove late payments from credit reports is not only a consumer right, but a necessity for financial recovery and economic stability. Businesses and corporate America have long profited from consumer hardship, weaponizing late payments to generate revenue while keeping struggling individuals trapped in financial distress. By allowing consumers to remove unjust, unverifiable, or outdated late payments, we create a fairer financial system that benefits consumers, businesses, and the broader economy. It is imperative for consumers to exercise their right under the Fair Credit Reporting Act and the Consumer Financial Protections Bureau, which is the CFPB, guidance to challenge, again, they put that word in there, I didn't, but challenge inaccuracies inaccuracies in reporting. Additionally, business should adopt ethical practices by assisting consumers in financial recovery rather than exploiting their misfortunes. All right, businesses, I'm going to read that one more time because I don't think y'all heard that yet. Businesses should adapt ethical practices by assisting consumers in financial recovery rather than exploiting their misfortunes. All right, so a financial system that supports responsible credit repair. I don't like to use the word repair, but I'm going to use it in this particular situation here. Leads to stronger economic protections and long-term prosperity for all parties involved. Now, I like to say not credit repair. I like to say credit recovery. Credit is a behavior. It isn't something that you can repair. It isn't even something that you can fix. It is something that you as an individual must recover from. And when you recover successfully from your credit hardships, guess what you're going to have? You're going to have that life that you are entitled to have. You're going to have the ability to go out into the world and be the consumer that the world wants. And once you are there, I'm almost guaranteed you may have a setback here or there, just like those two scenarios gave us, where you had two individuals who had some type of medical situation that prevented them from meeting their obligations. Life is going to continuously keep throwing you curveballs. It's going to continue to keep throwing you the things that you don't want. But your job is not to get frustrated. Your job is not to get mad. Your job is not to get upset. Your job is to be informed and then take the necessary steps to resolve the issues before they turn into, resolve the concerns before they turn into issues. And then obviously what comes after the issue, which we all know, is the problem. Let's get in front of these situations prior to. All right. I was going to share with you, because I wanted to do this last week, and we have about 11 minutes. I wanted to share with you my Black History Month. Our show had to be postponed due to meetings that were necessary. And I'm always impressed when our CEO tells us that he's got big things planned for us and he needs to postpone or put our show on pause. But nevertheless, this organization is growing, folks. And we're going to do the things that we need to do. But last week was the last week of Black History. And I wanted to do my Black History, my moment in Black History. So I'm going to slowly but surely revert over to our Substack. And if I can, I'm hoping it's still here and available. But if not, what I'd like you to do, if you do have time, is to go to my Substack. And there is a fantastic article. Use your phone, because on the phone, what it does is it allows for you to actually do the record, and you can listen to it versus having to read it. And it's, I mean, I'm doing such a fantastic job in writing now. I actually love it. And you would not believe, and I've said this in multiple other times, I'm someone who was diagnosed with dyslexia. I don't read it as fast as my peers. I struggle a little bit with identifying some words. That's why you'll see me pause, or that's why you'll probably even see me make a mistake here or there. But nevertheless, do you think I let that stop me? Nope. It only encourages me to continue. And every single day, every single article, every single time that I'm in front of my students, every single time that I'm talking to a consumer, I've overcome, and I want all of us to also equally overcome those challenges that have prevented you from doing or getting the desirable outcomes of your life. Overcome those challenges and use the people around you, not use them in a negative, but use the people around you to help you with overcoming that. Because you'll probably find out there's some valuable people in your circle already. There's some valuable people. Don't let people exploit you. Don't let people take advantage of you, but also understand that there are some valuable people in your circle. The CEO of Soul City, valuable. He saw the value in me. I saw the value in our opportunity to present our content. Boom, working relationship. Working for Yonkers Public Schools. They saw value in me as an African-American male who could bring value to our academics or to our schools, which, if you think about the percentage of Black male teachers in that field, we're only about 2%. And the demographic of Black male students is about 13 to 18%. So we're not even meeting half of what we should be meeting to make sure that our kids see faces that look like theirs. But as I said, nevertheless, our job is to continuously to keep educating our public on the things that they need to know. And one of those things that I need you to know is that there are articles and there are situations out there that you yourself can find and use to your advantage. That's what you call technology. Look at that. I went out, came right back in. So my apologies for that. But nevertheless, 8 more minutes. and we'll be wrapping this up. My sincerest apologies for that mishaps. But as I was saying, the Substack article that I have, or that is on my screen in just a few minutes. This is my homepage. And what I really, as I said, I love what I do. Whoa, I saw some percentages go up there. That was pretty impressive. Hope that is true. But you can see here, this is my content page. This content page provides you with as much of the information that is needed for you to gain what you need from us. All right, so that's just telling me some results. But let's go to the actual page. So here you can see my overall Tyrone Substack. And I've been doing some work, ladies and gentlemen. I have been putting in work, which I love. I love this. I love being able to, and I'm encouraging more of you. If you have something to say, get it into a Substack. Get it into a platform that allows for you to express yourself to individuals. You never know who can benefit from your information. You never know. You have no clue. Do it. You'll probably see that your platform or your information may get to that person that you want it to get to. But I write for this article and for this piece in this place here, and I enjoy it. I enjoy every article that I'm able to put out there. But the one that I was referring to was my Black History Month. There it is right here. This one is especially one that I am truly engaged in because, again, the unbreakable spirit of Black history, a call for unity and action. Unbreakable. This article meant so much to me, and I really am encouraging you, go back and read this. Go back and read this. I'm not going to read it because we're about 5 minutes out, but go back and read this. I'm going to read just a couple of snippets of it, but nevertheless, look at the amazing image that you can create using the tools and the methods that are already available to us. Use that ingenuity, use that medulla oblongata, use that heart that you already have. Stop letting our ancestors feel and believe that we are not carrying their legacy. Let's get back in front of versus standing behind. So Black history is more than a month. It is a movement, a testament a continuous saga of resilience, brilliance, and an unyielding pursuit for justice. As we reflect on these sacrifices of our ancestors, the triumphs of the civil rights movement, and the current state of our communities, one unsettling truth emerges. Our unity, once our greatest strength, is now fractured. This divide is not accidental. It is the result of systemic, strategic, aimed at weakening, or strategies aimed at weakening our collective power. The question is, or the question we must ask ourselves is, have we learned from our history, or are we doomed to repeat its mistakes? Again, let's say that one more time. Have we learned from our history, or are we doomed to repeat its mistakes? The Civil Rights Movement, a lesson in power and sacrifice. The Civil Rights movements of the 1950s and the 1960s was not merely about integration, or civil rights. It was a strategic, sacrificial, and highly organized effort to dismantle the oppressive structure of racial injustice in America. Through nonviolent resistance, economic boycotts, again, think about that word, economic boycotts, and legal challenges, Black Americans forced the nation to confront its hypocrisy and demand legislative change, such as Civil Rights Act of the 1964 and the Voters' Rights Act of 1965. Leaders like Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, Fannie Lou Hamer, and Ella Baker understood that unity was not optional, it was necessary, or it was a necessity. Today we stand on the shoulders of those who have marched, bled, and died for our freedom. Yet the same unity that led to victories in Selma, Montgomery, and Washington is absent in our churches, schools, and communities. What happened to Black unity? How did we go from standing together at lunch counters to standing alone in our individual pursuit of success, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness? So I'm going to stop there because, again, read the rest of it. This is a powerful, powerful, powerful statement that we need every single individual to make time. Make time. Go through this article. Look at all the wonderful artwork that's been presented, and then think about rebuilding our narrative, a call to action. As we conclude Black History Month, we must commit to reigniting the spirit of unity that carries us through centuries of oppression. And here's how: reclaiming our history, support Black institutions, hold our leaders accountable, strengthen Black solidarity, and fight back against erasure. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you. My name again is Tyrone Glover. I am the Dress Down CEO of Leverage Credit Recovery. You can find us here on Soul City. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Facebook. We're doing everything that we possibly can to help you navigate these challenging times. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart to the top of from the bottom of my feet to the top of my head, so sincerely for making time today. So make more time, and we look forward to seeing you in our upcoming session, which will be next Tuesday. As always, America, be safe.
We are the sons and daughters of the soul. We are resilient and forever forward-thinking. We ask for nothing else than the opportunity to live and to create the lives that we were meant to live. We want nothing but an equal chance at options and possibilities. The same possibilities and options to live out our potential as our fellow man. We want to be heard, understood, and expressive in our reality. We are the future. We are the creative. We are here.